And now the end is near. Jujutsu Kaisen's final curtain, my simps. I'll say it clear. Sukuna's cooked. Of that I'm certain. Today, holy fuck, today we're talking about chapter 264 of Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't usually do chapter reviews for every single chapter, but this was big enough to warrant even me, the real-life Satoru Gojo, to talk about it. So today, we're talking about The End is Near, manga spoilers are ahead, and let's start with a 264 recap. So I'll ask you all to remember that at the end of chapter 263, Sukuna is looking up as Hana and Angel are about to unleash a Jacob's Ladder on Sukuna. Now, a lot of memes were made about this topic, a lot of discourse about how Sukuna is going to survive it. Is he just going to climb Jacob's Ladder? Yes. That's exactly what he did. Okay, gay. This manga is so unserious at times. It's quite unbelievable. So congratulations, Sukuna. I tip my hat off to you. You're the GOAT villain. You managed to shrug it off as though nothing happened, and you went straight for Hana and Angel like a smart villain. Now, the effects of Jacob's Ladder this time aren't limited only to Sukuna. In fact, they hit Yuji and Todo as well. And this is important because our boys are also getting hurt by the light. Now, there's a classic Angel telling Hana not to sell moment. Just like when Sukuna was in Megumi's body, she did the same thing. Of course, Hana never wants to listen, so Sukuna winds up his fist and is about to evaporate into red mist fucking Hana until Todo, of course, saves the day. This man has come in clutch perhaps more than anyone else in the manga. Tip my head off to fucking Todo. You are indeed a Jujutsu sorcerer. And when you think about it, Todo didn't even really have to do this. I don't think that they're going to use Hana for the rest of the series. So the fact that he came to protect her instead of letting her die, truly a gentleman moment. And then Yuji hops out of the Pillar of Light, which is burning him, by the way, just to throw hands. And he gives Ankh the Naruto special. Yeah, he dunks him. He fucking WWEs him. He throws him into the Valley of the End. It's so fucking satisfying to see Sukuna ragdolled like this. Now, while we get this incredible display of Yuji's physical strength, unfortunately, Sukuna does regain his reverse curse technique, regenerates his two arms, but ask Gojo how that goes. What happens next? So using his newly regenerated arms, Sukuna continues dogging on Yuji, but he realizes, I should not fuck around. In fact, he says, there's no need for me to make risky moves like Satoru Gojo was forced to do. Sukuna knows this because Yuji is him, and this is proved later in the chapter. The fighting continues for a little bit, and Yuji's trying to get Sukuna with his soul-crossing dismantles and cleaves, and Sukuna specifically says that Yuji can deal lethal damage to incarnated sorcerers. Therefore, he is the hard counter to Sukuna. This panel specifically tells us that if Yuji touches Sukuna, it's over. It's cooked. Suki's donezo, presumably. Knowing Gege, he could always fucking amend this with a bounding bow, but you know what I mean. Next, we get a sighting of a goat. We get Jogo for a whole one panel, and then remove all the other pictures because Gojo sighting, Gojo return in chapter 265. The agenda, no, the truth will never die. And the Jogo and Gojo sighting was really important because it's a flashback of Gojo talking about domain expansion. Now, at this point in the fight, only Yuji and Sukuna are present, so what could possibly happen next? The waiting was worth it. Yuji finally, Ryoiki Tenkai. Thank the fucking heavens. I mean, there was so much discourse about whether Yuji would ever be able to do this, and I'm so glad that he managed to fucking pull it out the bag at the very end. And shout out Kusakabe, because Yuji was only able to do this due to his soul swap training. I mean, the man really kind of did carry Jujutsu sorcery on the back. So at the end of the chapter, after all of this, after Yuji's domain expansion, an old man finds himself at a train station. Now we can talk about each of the characters and the implications for the next chapter. Starting with Sukuna. Now I'll repeat. He actually did it. He actually up and went and fucking climbed Jacob's ladder. Did you like that? My ladder climbing? He climbed Jacob's ladder. He pulled out a technique that he hasn't used since the Higuruma era. The break weak and cliffhanger doesn't matter, I'm gonna survive the attack technique. Jesus fucking Christ. Memes aside though, it's actually kind of symbolic that Sukuna climbs Jacob's ladder all the way to the top because biblically Jacob's ladder is like a gateway, entryway to heaven. So, Sukuna's cooked. Now, I've said this also in other videos, but his hubris is unmatched. And he's also quite stupid, because if we take what Urome says at face value, they said something like, Sukuna is still not holding back, Sukuna still has yet to go all out. Dog, if Sukuna ends up losing because he did not go all out, this is so fucking stupid. Why did he not go all out when he knew there was a chance of dying? So, I have a new agenda to push. The Heian era were bums agenda. Because there is no way, you cannot convince me that Sukuna was not holding back against them. He no-diffed Yorozu. And Yorozu was supposed to be fucking strong. So Heian era, bums. Modern era, goated. New agenda, push this shit. And tag me on Reddit. and blow this video up, and subscribe or die. I love you. Anyway, back to the chapter. We also realize that Sukuna very much regrets picking Uraume as his right hand because, you know, for 10 months now, she has been fighting Hikari. This is probably the fucking worst companion you could ever pick. I wouldn't even be surprised at this point that Gege just off-screens both Hikari and Uraume. You know what? Hikari's an ice block, and Uraume ran out of cursed energy forever. Yep, book it. And last but not least, as the chapter ends at the train station, we realize that Sukuna is actually just a broke boy who could not afford a plane ticket. Gojo was at an airport. Buddy, where are you trying to go by train? You can't even fucking cross water. Come on, be real. So Sukuna enjoyers, Sukuna glazers, Sukuna agenda pushers, it's time to come to terms with the fact that Unk is cooked. Next up, we're talking about Todo, because there's only a few people in this chapter. Now, he is a true Jujutsu sorcerer. There is not much else to say. Ryomen Sukuna, the fucking king of curses, says it himself, and I'm very, very glad that he did not get the spotlight of him taken away when Yuta showed back up in Gojo's body. Overall, another goated performance by Todo, but we couldn't even expect anything less. He's him. Next up, we've got Hana and Angel, and a couple weeks ago, I made a top 10 most useless characters in Jujutsu Kaisen, and they were honorable mentions, and some of y'all really thought that I spoke too soon about them. Hell the fuck no. They're still ass. The only reason Sukuna survived another Justice League attack, Jacob's Ladder, in case you didn't get that fucking shitty joke, is because their output is actually just fraudulent. Yeah, they're missing an arm. It doesn't fucking matter. Yuta, again, took their technique and used it better than them. Classic Yuta moment. Puh. Jesus. Speaking of Yuta, he's lying face down, eyes open, thinking about life, realizing that his life is in fact over in 1 minute. Still a bum. You don't even get a picture on this slide. Moving forward. I will push that agenda till the day that I die. Am I jealous of Yuta? Perhaps, but not really because I don't want to date a minor. And last but certainly not least, we're talking about Yuji. I fucking told you. I made the Agenda Kaisen tier list on last Wednesday. If you're watching this video the day it's published, I knew that Yuji was going to come through. I knew that he was gonna lock in, and I knew that he was him. Bro brought out the double middle finger domain expansion signs. Now I know that's not what this is, we're gonna talk about that in 1 sec, but this also is fucking symbolic to Sukuna. Actually, shove it up your ass, dog. The man's not messing around anymore. He knows what it's like to be a shonen main character. He's about to talk no jutsu Sukuna. I don't think so really, but it looks like he's going to. Look at Sukuna's face. He knows what's coming. And dog, he looks hard as fuck for, well, he's missing an eye. I don't see anybody talking about this panel with the 4 faces, but holy shit. Yuji, he's still not speaking. He is locked the fuck in, unlike Megumi. He is the GOAT. Let's go. Remember, 6 months of sorcery. He has been a sorcerer for 6 fucking months. This is what he's come to. My fucking GOAT. And the last thing we're talking about in today's video are some theories or predictions for the future of Jujutsu Kaisen, starting with number 1. Sukuna is already dead. He got hit by the strong off-screen attack. Very similar to Gojo in 236 where he meets Geto, Sukuna is now meeting Yuji in the afterlife. And there are a couple things to mention here, starting with the fact that not top no jutsu necessarily, but Yuji might be the guy to teach Sukuna about love. Remember, this is a theme that has been explored throughout Jujutsu Kaisen this entire time. This does not mean that he will redeem Suki, but he might show that his philosophy was the correct one. And remember, Yuji was the only person that Sukuna did not want to lose to. Sukuna would have been proud to lose to Gojo if Gojo was a strong enough fighter. Yuji, he just fucking despises. Once he sees Yuji's philosophy beating the fuck out of Sukuna himself, he's gonna lose it, and it's gonna be awesome to watch. And there's evidence to support this theory, starting with the fact that Yuji's mudra, his domain expansion hand sign, obviously all of them are rooted in Buddhism. It relates to guiding souls without redemption and being the guardian of deceased children and aborted fetuses. Does this strike a chord with you? Does this ring any bells? Yes, the cursed wombs. It is all very intertwined with Yuji's story. Now, I obviously added this little picture here. You can pause the video and read it if you'd like. And one last thing I'd like to say regarding this theory, Yuji might also be dead. We might not even be able to see his domain, but I think that not seeing his domain or having Sukuna off-screened is way better writing than Gojo's off-screening, just because we didn't know what Sukuna could do. This is not Gojo Cope. We didn't know that Sukuna could kill Gojo. By all means, Gojo should have probably seen it coming with the 6 eyes, dodged it in some ways. At this point, Sukuna was 1 HP. Anything would have fucking killed him. We know that the technique is lethal to Sukuna. Yuji's, I mean, it's better. And that idea leads me to theory number 2, where we're actually in Yuji's innate domain right now. Remember, we've only ever seen them interact in Sukuna's. The theory here is that Sukuna kind of got off-screen again, that Yuji took inspiration from Mahito. He made some sort of binding vow where he couldn't shoot cleaves or dismantles. Maybe not even binding vow, maybe that's just how his curse technique works. But as soon as he touches something, the cleave or dismantle takes effect. That's why Sukuna didn't want to get touched, obviously, because he could attack the space between Megumi's and Sukuna's souls and separate the two. Now that's what happened when he opened his domain. Yuji could have eaten all the fucking fingers again because Sukuna wouldn't have died because they didn't want to kill Megumi, and Yuji is now willing to sacrifice himself. So if Yuji did make this binding vow or related his curse technique to Mahito in any way where he instantly wins against incarnated sorcerers with his domain expansion, it ties really nicely into the fact that yes, I'm you. That panel still goes hard, and now it would go even harder. And my personal favorite theory is that Yuji will show Sukuna love by giving him back shots. And I'm actually going to make a video about this on a different website, going really into detail about how this might work. So in conclusion, what does the real-life Satoru Gojo say about Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 264? This was the moment that we were all waiting for. I mean, I've had so many discussions with my friends waiting for Yuji to use domain expansion, how cool a moment it would be, and man, it surpassed a lot of expectations because now Sukuna is really feeling the same thing that Gojo felt, really feeling bad that Yuji is in fact him, as much as he didn't want to admit it. Fucking loser. And obviously, we can't gloss over the fact that JJK is such a goated meme manga. I mean, it's right up there with JoJo's, but it's basically confirmed at this point that Gege is on forums, he's on YouTube, he's listening to what people want to say just to make this manga as unserious, while being serious, as he possibly fucking can. He's having a good time with it, we're having a good time with it, hopefully, even though you guys are lying that you're not. It's pretty stellar. And this is just a reminder to a lot of you guys, Luca is right about every single character always. Whatever he says, whatever agenda he's pushing, I did not speak too soon. I know who's a bum. I know who's a fraud. I went to Stanford. That's why I know all this. Actually, that's definitely not why. And the more I say this, I feel like the more higher chance that I get my fucking diploma revoked by them retroactively. Anyway, Sukuna is about to lose because he didn't go all out. I know that there's going to be an agenda pushed about that, but man, he fucking deserves it. If this is actually how you lose, shut the fuck up, Sukuna. Strong off screen. And last but not least, this is not a sponsored video. I'm just trying to help you out here. Kayak.com, Expedia.com, Skyscanner.com. All of these websites help you find cheap plane tickets so that next time you don't have to end up at a train station. Sukuna, I got you. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, my lovelies. Let me know what you thought about the chapter down below. Sukuna PR team, what's the excuse this time? What can we say about it? Everyone else, are we happy with how it's ending? What do you think will happen next? I'd like to know, honestly. It was a really good day when this chapter came out, man. Gege was cooking. Not like some other chapters that made me want to rip my eyes and tongue out, but you know. You do what you can. If you have any other suggestions for future videos, also leave those in the comments down below. Any other series, characters, games that we can play, any websites to visit, just let me know. If you're new to the channel, go binge my content. I have over 100 videos now. And it's not only Jujutsu Kaisen. Imagine that. Things outside JJK. Couldn't be me. Regardless, you are looking so lovely today. You brown-eyed, beautiful, beautiful person. I love you. Until next time, I'm out.